Hi, I'm Courtney Gibson with Pixie Travel, and today I'm going to show you how I streamline my workflow for Disney park clients in Travefy. One thing that I found with my Disney World and Disneyland clients is there was basically a process that I could use for all of them since there are certain days that everything is happening. So what I wanted to do was create a really tight, streamlined process that I could walk through and personalize as I needed to, but that was getting information out to everybody and helping me keep up with everything as my business grew. And so typically how people come to me first is through social media. I have a link tree where they can fill out a quote request to whatever their destination is. So here is an example of my Walt Disney World quote request form. It has everything I need right here to be able to then send a quote. So one of my goals was to be able to, where I could, cut out the back and forth of emails where there could be some lag time and be able to fill that in by immediately having what I needed. So from here, once I received the quote request form from somebody for Walt Disney World, I have one for 2024, one for 2025, it just highlights a few of the differences that are coming. And all I have to do here, which is so nice now that this template is created, is I'm just able to go in and copy that, then plug the information, pulling the resorts from my library, getting that ready and sending that. One thing that I noticed is there still tended to be a good bit of just email back and forth with really basic questions. So I did two things here. One, I created an frequently asked questions section where I just went through, a lot of the questions I was getting was, should we do the park hopper? Should we not? So I went through and answered, when do I recommend it? When do I think it's not necessary? And went through all of those steps, also having a link if they want to schedule a phone call to discuss more before they're ready to book, they can do that. I've got the link in here. But if they're ready to book, what I wanted to do was have a way that they could do that right from the quote instead of having to email back and forth. And so in this next step section, I actually have a link to the Disney vacation selection form. And so when they click on that, it takes them right to this form. And here they're able to plug in all of the information that I need to put a 3-day courtesy hold on their resort and their vacation package. So they're confirming some of the information from the original quote. Sometimes I found that they might want to change the dates. And so I wanted to have some options there, get everybody's names and everything that I need, where then when this comes to me, I actually can go ahead and I can book their vacation package before I even collect the money. I found this is really good too, where I'm able to send the email that says, you're booked. Now I'm going to send you the deposit form. It helped that sense of urgency of, oh, I have 3 days to pay this. Okay, let's do this instead of thinking about it for a while. So I book them in the 3-day courtesy hold, and then I send them this form to collect the $200 deposit for Disney World. I just have a saved form here for, you can see several of them, but for the Walt Disney World deposit. So I'm able to immediately add it here. I'm just able to change the name. I plug in the date that the deposit's due by, and then I'm able to put the information here, authorize the $200. And I have found that I get things booked so much faster since I've started doing this. This has been a big game changer for me. As soon as they are officially booked, deposits paid, I send them that confirmation from Disney in an email that also has the link to my big Walt Disney World guide. What I found is that I have clients come to me that kind of fall into one of two categories. Some clients, they're booking through me because they don't want to think about anything else. They don't want to research anything. They want to be told, here's where I'm going to eat. Here's where you need to be at this time and this day. That's it. Other people really enjoy the process. They want to do the deep dive and they want all of the information right away. And even though I know they don't necessarily need the information yet, they just want it. They're excited. And I would rather them come to me so that I know they're getting accurate information than just going and exploring all the different Facebook groups and who knows where else. So I created this for those types of people. And I even say that in my letter in the very beginning that I have two types of clients, whichever kind you are, I'm so glad you're here. Because I want them to know if you're type 1, don't look at this. I will send you the emails of what you need when you need it. But if you're type 2, Here's everything you need. You'll also see that right in here, I have a link where they can schedule a call with me. I have specific times that I do like to do calls with clients, but sometimes they're just excited and they want to ask things earlier, and I'm happy to do that. So they have that. In this guide, I have a combination of things they could be doing right now, links to everything from the transportation company that I use, strollers, steps ordering their magic bands. And then I go through a big thing that always comes up after someone books is dining. Kind of they've got their trip booked and now they're thinking, okay, how much am I going to spend on food? So a lot of this came out of just the questions that I was getting and how can I put those on the front end. So one thing that I created was a guide to budgeting for Walt Disney World. And this is something that they can look at their leisure. I even give them some recommendations of, okay, here are my favorite places in each so that they can actually click on the links to see the menus and see pricing to get a feel for how much is this going to cost me if I'm eating at some of these recommended places. I give them a breakdown of what a table service restaurant is. Here's what it would kind of cost you so they can start getting an idea in their head for that. But then I've told them in my guide, our active planning for your trip starts when you're 3 months out. Since dining and special experiences are all booked 2 months out, 3 months out is when I send an email with everything they need as we kind of move into that process. So all of this is just for them to get excited about as they're going. They are that planner who wants to know what's coming. They can go ahead and look at the guide to ADR day. If they don't want to look at this, no big deal. I send it to them 3 months out. But they have a few things here, and I will have some of those type 2 planner clients who go ahead and fill this out as soon as they book, which is great. The first, I've made a get to know us form here right in Travefy. I love this one. This is where they get to tell me everything about themselves in terms of here are the kinds of rides we like to do or don't like to do, or maybe we have no idea. We've never been to an amusement park. We don't know what we'll like. Here are our favorite movies, our favorite shows. I like to know what kind of vacationers they are in terms of their style and schedule because, you know, you can do Disney where you're getting up very early, but maybe you're more people who want to sleep in and then hit the park late. I love getting this form from them because it does help me personalize some of those things later on. Then they have a form that they can fill out when it is time to book their dining. So some people are looking at this guide early in advance, seeing all of this information. Some people, they're just waiting until I email them 3 months out and I say, okay, it's almost time to book your dining. Let me tell you about all of the wonderful things that Walt Disney World offers. So they can look in the dining guide. They can see a list of every single table service restaurant in each park. These are all links which will take them to the Disney website where they can actually look at the menu and see pricing, again, if they want to do that extra deep dive. But I've tried to go through and mark each one. There's a little code by, okay, this is one of my favorites. This is 2 table service credits, so not a good use of your dining plan, just to help them get a feel for that. And then we have a starting point for answering questions that they have. This takes them through everything though, everything that I can book at that 60-day mark, including VIP tour information, everything about Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, all of that is all right here. Then when they are ready to book, sometimes they look at this and they're ready right away. Then I actually have a form that they can fill out. There's even an option where if they just want to say, you do it for us, we trust you, here are any allergies that we have, you pick what you want for us. They can indicate that on here. They can also leave as many details as they want to leave. So all of that's right here. There's also always the option, if they're unsure, they go back to that calendar and they're able to schedule a call and we talk it all through in advance. At any point along the way, clients can always refer back to this main guide. This is like their home base that has everything in it. And we talked about, you know, in the first few months, it's more just as clients want to get excited, they might want to go in, look at a particular park. There are links to every attraction and almost everything in here came out of questions that I was getting over and over again. So I would get a lot of questions about, hey, what are the height requirements for rides? And so again, this was just where I was able to say, okay, here are the characters that you can meet in this park. If you want character dining, here's where it is. All of this just is stuff that they can look at their leisure. I then have a more detailed park strategy guide in terms of here's what you should do in the park, here are the best things, here's where to go first, here's how to strategize the new lightning lanes. And that's a Canva document that I just upload in here, and they're able to access that. So I love that I can make these, and that this works so well with Travefy. So I update these seasonally with the offerings. And again, this is more like your step-by-step for people who want that. And then I update that. And when I update it, instead of having to send it to individual clients, I just change it out in that main guide. And that has just worked really well for me. Another thing, I'll give an example of why this has been so helpful. On July 24th, Genie Plus is going away. Lightning Lane is coming. So now I have a whole new system to introduce my clients to. And I was able to last week go in and just be able to say, okay, here's what we know right now. I was able to just create a new day in this guide, give all of the lightning lane information that we have. I made my own guide in Canva, which is another document that they can read. I can update it. And then I'm able to go ahead and tell them, okay, here's some basic information. Again, I've got some links in here as well. But what's really cool is starting next week, when we see how this is all playing out in real time, then I can go in and I can create a new library item with strategy. And I'm just putting it in this one document and everybody has access to it instead of having to update these individual itineraries. So that's been really helpful. It's great too for when rides go under refurbishment. I can just change things in this one guide. Everything stays up to date. When it's getting close to a certain holiday, I actually have days that I pull in that are already pre-made for the whole when you create a day. And I pull those in. It's like everything you need to know about Walt Disney World during the holidays, Walt Disney World at Halloween, and they have all of that information there. So this has been a fantastic guide that people can just always refer back to. I can update. And then the other thing that's neat is if I can tell that I have a client who just needs a little bit more hand holding, what I can actually do is I can make a copy of this and then really easily turn it into a customized itinerary. So it's been super helpful just in helping me now have more time to customize the things that matter for my clients, but not having to feel like I was just copy pasting so much of the same thing.